we are going to start with ancient Indian history. You must be intimated, no? You are informed about it. Fine, clear. So today we are going to start with ancient Indian history. We'll proceed with ancient India, then we'll continue with medieval India, and then finally we'll take art and culture also. Clear? Before we start, first of all, have a brief idea about the syllabus. What exactly has to be done related to ancient, medieval art and culture for examination. Clear? This topic is important both for prelims as well as for mains examination. First of all, clear? In prelims examination every year, you get around 8 to 10 questions from ancient, medieval and art and culture every year, clear? And at the same time in mains examination, at least 3 to 4 questions would be there in GS paper 1 from art and culture, clear? So in mains examination, direct history of ancient medieval India is not asked, clear? Mains examination, they ask basically questions on art and culture, clear? So art and culture becomes very important for mains examination, and art and culture along with ancient and medieval India is important for prelims examination, clear? Why such questions are asked in this way? First of all, we'll understand the syllabus, clear? As far as the syllabus for prelims examination is concerned, one line that is mentioned about this topic domain is history of India and Indian national movement, clear? So one sentence out of 6 topics in prelims examination, one topic is history of India and Indian national movement, clear? So history of India obviously includes ancient, medieval, the first part of modern India, and even art and culture, clear? So get questions from art and culture, ancient and medieval in prelims examination. So topic is history of India and Indian national movement, clear? If we look into syllabus for mains examination, GS paper 1, the topic that is the first topic that is mentioned is salient features of Indian culture and heritage, like the art forms, architecture, language and literature, clear? So they have mentioned 3 words clearly, that is salient features of Indian culture and heritage, like art forms, architecture, language and literature, clear? So as we will cover ancient and medieval India, we'll discuss about thematic developments of art and culture, that is art forms, architecture, language and literature. For instance, take the case of 2025 examination mains, clear? The very first question was picked up from the syllabus, clear? Discuss the salient features of Harappan architecture, clear? So art forms, architecture, language and literature, clear? Another question was discuss about the religious syncretism of Akbar, clear? This was a question 2025. Anyone who will cover culture part, they will always cover about Akbar's religious policy and syncretism, clear? Third question was discuss the major art forms during the Chandela rulers of early medieval phase, clear? Art forms largely reflected in their temples, especially the sculpture art forms, clear? So 3 words which are mentioned in the syllabus that are only important for your examination: art forms, architecture, language and literature. If we look into PYQ of last to last year, there was a question on discuss the contribution of Pallavas towards art forms and literature, clear? So they always stick to 3 words: art forms, architecture, language and literature, clear? So make it very clear. Syllabus should be very clear in your mind, then only we can proceed effectively, clear? And side by side after syllabus, as we proceed in our discussion, we'll be discussing about PYQs also, clear? Both for prelims as well as for mains examination. So you are well versed with the tune of the examination so that you can prepare accordingly, clear? So first thing to be done by any candidate related to any module is first of all understand the syllabus, because syllabus enables you to know what exactly has to be studied, clear? How much to be studied is known through PYQs, clear? So PYQs has to be done to understand what is the depth of the question, how depth you have to cover in that particular topic, clear? So what to study through syllabus, how far to study through the PYQs, clear? So obviously there's no limit to knowledge, clear? We always try to guess that level of question through PYQs, clear? So obviously PYQs let us know exactly the depth of this examination, clear? So 2 things to be taken care of in the entire process of discussion. So side by side we'll discuss the PYQs related to topics for both prelims as well as for mains examination, clear? Mains basically will take when we'll discuss art and culture, clear? Because for mains, art and culture is there. For prelims, history of India includes ancient India, medieval India along with art and culture. Clear? So today we'll start with history of ancient India, then we'll proceed with history of medieval India, and then finally art and culture. Approach should be very clear how we are going to proceed. Clear? So let us start with history of India, the first one being ancient Indian history. Clear? Now how we are going to start, just understand. Clear? History is a pure scientific discipline. It's not only about storytelling. Clear? History is a pure scientific discipline, and each and everything which is being said or we are going to discuss is based on evidences. Clear? Nothing, not even a single thing would be discussed in the class without taking the authenticity from sources. Anything which is said without sources is a mere imagination or fiction. It's not a part of history. Clear? So history is something which is based on concrete evidences and sources. Clear? So to understand this discipline, it is much more important to understand sources related to ancient Indian history, because we'll be using these sources in the process of our discussion. Clear? Now, first of all, we'll discuss what are the major sources of ancient Indian history. Then we'll start discussion on history, that is prehistory, proto-history, and then finally historical phase. Clear? As far as sources of ancient Indian history is concerned, what are these major sources of ancient Indian history? Just understand. Clear? So first of all, if we look into sources of ancient Indian history, it is broadly divided into two major components. Clear? We'll understand these components. I'll make you write. Just understand first. Clear? The first major component under sources of ancient Indian history is archaeological sources. Clear? So first category comprises of archaeological sources, which has been found in the process of excavation and exploration. Clear? This is archaeological sources. Next major category comprises of literary sources. Clear? Because we use literary sources also to reconstruct the past history of ancient India. Clear? Within archaeological sources, what are the major sources? Clear? Which has been found in the process of excavation or exploration. When the process started, how the process started, we'll come to that also. Clear? Under archaeological category, the first major source which is used by historians to reconstruct the past history of India are large number of inscriptions. Clear? The study of inscriptions is also known as science of epigraphy. Clear? Why inscriptions are very important? Just understand. Clear? Inscriptions were largely written in ancient India on solid surface like the rocks, especially the rock surfaces. Clear? And once written, it could not be changed. Clear? So they are the primary source of history. They are the most authentic source of ancient Indian history. In fact, historians consider the inscriptions as lifeblood of history. Clear? So they are the main sustaining force of history, because most authentic information come down to us from inscriptions. Clear? Aaj bhi, if we don't have any history books with us, clear, we can reconstruct ancient Indian history based on these sources, because these sources cannot be altered. Clear? So yadi we don't have any history books these days, on this particular day, history can again be written in India based on inscriptions or science of epigraphy. So we have to rely on this authentic source from the very beginning. Clear? In fact, we know about the greatest ruler of ancient India, that is Ashok, solely through inscriptions or Ashokan edicts. Clear? These inscriptions were known as edicts as well. So first thing that has been found through archaeological sciences, the inscriptions or epigraphy. Clear? Second major source under archaeological category is large number of coins, which has also been found in the process of archaeological excavations. The scientific study of coins is known as numismatics. Clear? And why coins are important? Normally it is perceived that coins are important only to know about economy and trade. Clear? Not only economy and trade, coins enable us to understand political extent of the rulers also. Clear? Till the time particular coin or till the area the particular coins are found, it is said that rule of that ruler prevails. Clear? As soon as different coins are circulated after a certain point, it says that the rule of another ruler extends up to this region. Clear? So you can have a political demarcation of the rulers also through coins. Clear? So coins provides information not only about economy and trade. In fact, it also provides information about political extent of the rulers. These are second thing. Clear? Third major thing under archaeological category comprises of large number of artifacts. Clear? What exactly do we mean by artifacts? Clear? In culture, you will get questions on artifacts regularly. Clear? Artifacts is some object which is made by human being only through manual effort, meaning thereby not involving any mechanical device, not involving any machines. Clear? So any object which is prepared by human beings only through human effort, they are known as artifacts. Clear? And large number of these human artifacts has been found through science of archaeology and exploration. Clear? The most important artifacts being found are stone tools which were made by human beings through rubbing and through flaking, and these stone tools were used for hunting animals in prehistorical phase. Clear? These stone tools enable us to understand about the nature of living pattern of human beings, and on the basis of these stone tools we have divided the prehistory into Paleolithic phase, Mesolithic phase, Neolithic phase, only on the basis of these artifacts. Clear? Paleo means old, lithic means stone, that is old stone age. Then Mesolithic means middle stone age, Neolithic means new stone age. Clear? Depending on sophistication with stone implements. Clear? Another very important artifacts which has been used by historians to know about the past traditions are large number of potteries which were made by the people, and potteries enable us to understand surplus production of food grains, because normally potteries were used to store surplus food grains which indicate practice of agriculture. Clear? We have number of potteries. In fact, pottery has a sequential arrangement in ancient India, starting with handmade potteries, then followed by wheel turned potteries, whereby actual shape was given to potteries by turning the wheels. Clear? And wheel turned potteries began to be made. We have some colors attached with the potteries leading to different cultures like the OCP potteries, then PJW, then even we have NBPW in course of time. Clear? So these are another artifacts. Clear? As we will proceed with Indus Valley civilization, we'll find large number of artifacts like terracotta figurines of mother goddesses. Clear? Terracotta means mixing of mud and clay. So why mixing mud and clay? They made images of mother goddesses. Through these objects, they also produce large number of seals, which are artistic creation of Indus Valley civilization. Through these techniques, they also produce some metal objects also, like the bronze dancing girl. This was produced through human effort only. We have some stone statues like bearded man from the city of Mohenjo-daro, all done without the help of any mechanical device. Clear? And they are counted as artifacts of ancient India. Clear? So we have large number of artifacts as another source for reconstructing the past traditions of India. This is the third one under archaeological category. The fourth and the last one under archaeological category, this comprises of large number of monuments which were made in ancient India. Monuments can be religious also, monuments can be secular also. Clear? Even though we have large number of religious monuments in ancient India, the most important being temples constructed by followers of Brahmanism, stupas constructed by followers of Buddhism, and some basadis and temples constructed even by Jain followers. Clear? Three major religions were there. There was minor sect also known as Ajivikas, and for Ajivikas, Ashok constructed some rock cut caves at Bodh Gaya, also known as Nagarjuni Hills or Barabar Caves. Clear? We have these monuments, and through these monuments also we can know about the promotion of formal religions like Brahmanism, Buddhism, Jainism, and even Ajivikas. Clear? That is medieval India, ancient India. In medieval India, we have another set of Islamic monuments constructed by Islamic rulers, like this the Sultans of Delhi and the Mughal emperors in India. Clear? So these are major archaeological sources. Clear? We'll discuss each one of them elaborately. That is, first of all, inscriptions, then coins, then artifacts, and then monuments. Clear? Apart from this broad category, we have another source for ancient India known as the literary sources as well. Clear? In fact, in course of time, why do we call historical beginning? Clear? Prehistory was largely based on archaeological sources. Clear? And history starts with beginning of literary sources. Clear? And literary sources are also classified into three major categories. Clear? The first and the most dominant category comprises of religious literature. Clear? So large number of religious literature were written. In the field of religious literature, we have religious literature related to Brahmanism. Clear? And most important literature related to Brahmanism were the Vedic literature. Clear? 4 Vedic Samhitas are there, that is Rigved, Samved, Yajurved, and Atharvaved. Clear? These Samhitas were followed by Brahmanas. Brahmanas were followed by Aranyakas, and Aranyakas were finally followed by spiritual books known as Upanishads. Clear? Since Upanishads were written at the end of Vedic culture, it marked the beginning of spiritualism in India. Upanishads are also known as Ved ka Ant. We also call it to be Vedant. Clear? So we have 108 Upanishads or Vedant. Clear? They are the major religious literature related to Brahmanism. Clear? This were followed by certain commentaries like Manusmriti, we have Dharmashas, we have Puranas also written in ancient India, and all of these are used for historical reconstruction. Clear? We also use some epics also for historical construction to some extent. The two major epics being Ramayana and Mahabharata. Clear? All were compiled in ancient India. These are pure religious literature related to Brahmanism. Clear? We have religious literature also related to the faith of Buddhism. Clear? In fact, the most important work being the sacred text of Buddhism known as Tripitak. Clear? Tripitak comprising of Sutta Pitak, Vinaya Pitak, and the philosophical work Abhidhamma Pitak. Clear? Very important one which provides information about 6th century BC and the evolution of Buddhist religion. Clear? Then we have religious literature related to Jainism also. Clear? And these religious literatures are basically known as 12 Ang. Clear? There are 12 Ang followed by 12 Up Ang, and then some Mool Sutras and Cheda Sutras. Clear? They also provide informations about 6th century BC, evolution of Jain religion, socio-economic condition that prevailed at the time. We can use even Jain literature as well. Clear? These are three categories of religious literature under literary sources. Clear? Apart from religious literature, we have another category of literary sources available, and these sources comprises of secular and scientific literature. Clear? So we have some secular and scientific literature in ancient India as well. Clear? In this category of secular literature, the most important literature are the Sangam literature, which were written by Tamil poets in the extreme south. Clear? Even though Sangam literature mentions about some gods and goddesses, clear, it is largely counted as secular literature in ancient India. Apart from this, we have some works like Kama Sutra written by Vasyayan, which is a secular work. We have another works like Aryabhatyam written by Aryabhat, which mentions about mathematics, astronomy, and even geometrical science. Clear? We have Charak Samhita, we have Shushruta Samhita that mentions about medicinal knowledge. We have large number of scientific and secular literature which are also used to reconstruct history by historians. Clear? Apart from scientific and secular literature, the third and the last category comprises of several accounts provided by several foreign travelers who came to India throughout ancient India. Clear? Who were these foreign travelers who has written accounts about India? The first one being the Greek ambassador Megasthenes, who wrote a work Indica. Clear? He stayed at Patliputra, the capital of Mauryans, wrote an elaborate work on administration society titled as Indica. Clear? Some Buddhist pilgrims came from China, especially to study at Nalanda Mahavihar. And these pilgrims included Fahian, Yuan-sang, I-Sing. All of them has written their records about India. Even we use those records also to understand what was the socio-economic conditions that prevailed when these travelers came to India. Accounts of Fahian becomes very important because he mentions about Chandalas as untouchables in Indian society. He also mentions about flourishment of Buddhist religion during the Gupta period and mentions about Nalanda Mahavihar. Clear? So accounts of foreign travelers also becomes equally very genuine and very authentic as well as compared to other sources. Clear? So these are the broad sources, clear, which has been used by scholars and historians to reconstruct the past traditions of India. Clear? Yadi, or in fact, even now, today, at this date, all history books are lost. Clear? Then also we can rewrite ancient Indian history because all these sources are well preserved. Clear? Some of them are preserved in museums, some of them are preserved in archives, some of them are preserved under the guidance of a very important institution known as Archaeological Survey of India. Clear? So even though we don't have any history books, we are not dependent on that. We are dependent on concrete sources. Clear? And everything which is written in ancient India is written solely on the basis of sources and evidences. Nothing is said beyond this, because anything which is said beyond evidences is a mere fiction or imagination. It cannot be a part of history. Clear? So first of all, we need to be very clear how ancient history has been reconstructed and written, and how it can be written in future as well. Clear? Basic thing are sources available with us. Clear? First of all, we'll discuss about archaeological sources, starting with inscriptions available from different parts of India, because rulers directly spoke to the people through inscriptions on rock surfaces. Clear? We'll come to inscriptions, also known as science of epigraphy. This is clear. First of all, this concept is clear. Now we'll proceed with the intricate details of epigraphy or inscriptions. Broadly clear hai? Write briefly about this first, then we'll proceed with inscriptions. Clear? Write heading as clear. Write history of ancient India. History of ancient India. Ancient India. Right? Introduction. Clear? Right? History is a scientific discipline. History is a scientific discipline based on scientific discipline based on concrete evidences, based on concrete evidences found through historical research, found through historical research. Okay. Like the sources of ancient history, the sources of ancient history are broadly divided into archaeological and literary sources. Broadly divided into archaeological and literary sources. Clear? Change paragraph now. That the archaeological sources comprises of inscriptions, coins, artifacts, inscriptions, coins, artifacts, and ornaments. Yeah. Right. On the other hand, literary sources. On the other hand, the literary sources includes religious literature, comma, secular and scientific works, along with accounts of foreign travelers, along with the accounts of foreign travelers. Accounts of foreign travelers. Clear? There's the listing of things. Clear? Now we'll come to each one of them separately. Clear? And do understand sources. Once you understand the sources, ancient India will become very smooth. Clear? Because whatever we are going to discuss on the basis of the sources. Clear? So obviously understand the sources. That's the first major thing to be done in ancient India. Clear? So coming to first of all archaeological sources. Within archaeological sources, first of all we'll discuss about inscriptions. Clear? Now first of all, how this archaeological excavation and exploration started in India. First of all, clear? Why did it start? How did it start in India? Clear? In fact, clear, no effort towards archaeological exploration was taken either in ancient India or in medieval India. Clear? It was started effectively under the rule of British in modern India. Clear? And they also started the process not deliberately. They started the process incidentally. Clear? In fact, after the mighty revolt of 1857, clear, British wanted to show that they are trying to develop India. They were on a civilizing mission in India. In fact, they declared India to be white man's burden. Clear? So they took the charge of civilizing the India after the mighty revolt of 1857, so that such revolt may not take place in coming time. Clear? In this quest only, they began to promote largest infrastructural project in India, which was in form of railways. Clear? They decided to construct railways in India as a major ambitious project. Clear? And while they were laying the tracks of railways in the northwestern part of India, they found a large mound area on the way. Clear? This mound was declared to be mound of the dead. Clear? But at the same time, they wanted to ignore this mound. Clear? National leaders who began to emerge, they wanted to explore this large mound. Clear? And when this mound was explored, clear, it was found that it was a large city in the northwestern part of India, do we known as city of Mohenjo-daro. Clear? Mohenjo-daro literally means mound of the dead. Clear? Which is presently located in Larkana district of Sindh in Pakistan. Clear? And when it was explored, a large city was found. People began to show more interest in further exploration in this area, and it resulted into a large civilization found in Indus Valley zone, which came to be known as Indus Valley civilization, also known as Harappan civilization, also known technology as Bronze civilization. Clear? This was discovered incidentally. Clear? To proceed after this in a systematic manner towards exploration, clear, an institution was established in 1861 known as the Archaeological Survey of India by a British archaeologist, Sir Alexander Cunningham. Clear? He established ASI in 1861, but ASI needed fund to carry on vertical and horizontal excavation. British never showed any interest in investing resources in archaeological excavation. Okay? After some time only, ASI became a defunct body in India that is not very functional in this country. Clear? But under the pressure of emerging national leaders, ASI was revived in the year 1902, and this revival was done by British archaeologist Sir John Marshall. Clear? He revived ASI in the year 1902, and from here effective excavation and exploration began to be done in India, and in course of time large number of these objects began to be found through science of archaeology, and they had been used to reconstruct the past history of India. Clear? So this started incidentally with the establishment of ASI, first in 1861, then revived and properly established in 1902. In fact, while excavating the city of Mohenjo-daro, Sir John Marshall played a very important role along with an Indian archaeologist, R.D. Banerjee. Clear? The both of them played very important role in excavating the last city of Mohenjo-daro. Clear? This started incidentally under British rule, and objects began to be found. Clear? Now, one concept to be associated clear here. Clear? When objects began to be found through digging, clear? People went on digging deep inside the area, clear? And they began to find more and more objects till the time they could find the objects, clear? And ultimately, clear, when they found large number of objects, they needed to fix the time period of those objects, clear? History is all about time and chronology, clear? They needed to fix the time, they needed to fix the chronology of those objects, clear? They were found in layers, but how to fix the time, no one knew, clear? In fact, in the field of archaeology, apart from these objects, human and animal skeletons also began to be found, which were buried in course of time, clear? And when human skeletons along with animal skeletons were found, clear, these skeletons became a source to fix exact time and chronology, clear? The reason being that archaeologists began to apply a very scientific technique to know the age of these skeletons, and this technique is known as carbon dating method, clear? We all human beings, when we are alive, clear, we always consume atmospheric carbon on a consistent pace, clear? So we keep on consuming atmospheric carbon on a consistent pace, clear? And when any creature dies, clear, the accumulated carbon in the body starts to get decomposed, clear? The process of decomposition is also consistent, clear? And it has been calculated that half of the carbon, which is known as carbon isotope or C14 in the body, clear? Half of the carbon gets decomposed in 5568 years, almost 5500 years. This decomposition of half carbon is known as half-life, clear? And further half of the carbon will decompose in another 5568 years. If we keep on multiplying 5568 years with the amount of carbon left by calculating, clear, we can arrive at exact age of that human skeleton or animal skeleton. We can fix the time and chronology. And surrounding human skeletons, the artifacts which has been found, the objects which have been found, their age can also be fixed, clear? So it enables us to reconstruct the past tradition of India chronologically since the evolution of human beings around Ice Age, clear? So since Ice Age till present time, we have calculated the chronology of human beings through carbon dating method and associate the artifacts found along with the skeletons of those dead bodies, clear? This has been done through the science of archaeology and accompanied with the concept of carbon dating method. Concept is clear, first of all, clear? First of all, coming to archaeological survey of India, clear? Right, next paragraph, clear? Like the science of archaeology, the science of archaeology started, the science of archaeology started during British rule, when railways were promoted in India. Railways were promoted in India. By mid of 19th century, railways were promoted in India. Yeah. Right. While constructing the railway track, in the northwestern region, British found a large mound, M-O-U-N-D, elevated area. British found a large mound which was ignored initially. Large mound which was ignored as, right, with inverted comma, ignored as the mound of the dead. Nothing relevant. Mound of the dead. Clear? Right. Under the pressure of Indian leaders, excavation began to be promoted excavation began to be promoted, leading to establishment of, archaeological survey of India, archaeological survey of India in 1861, leading to the establishment of archaeological survey of India in 1861 by British archaeologist, Sir Alexander Cunningham. Sir Alexander Cunningham. आपको बता दूं यहाँ पे, clear? If you look into PYQ or prelims 2 years back, clear? They asked few names in prelims examination and they asked that these names were associated with which activity in Indian history, clear? All those names were of archaeologists. They gave the option as archaeology also, clear? So sometimes directly they ask the names of archaeologists as well, clear? We'll keep on discussing PYQs as well, clear? So 2 years back only they asked a question, they gave 3 to 4 names and they asked that all these people were associated with. They will give you 4 options, clear? And all of them were archaeologists of ancient India, including Sir Alexander Cunningham, Sir John Marshall, Mortimer Wheeler. There are many archaeologists associated with past conditions, clear? Sir Alexander Cunningham, clear? Right. However, due to lack of funds, ASI could not work. Efficiently. Archaeological Survey of India. ASI could not work efficiently and it was revived. By another archaeologist, Sir John Marshall. Another archaeologist, Sir John Marshall, in 1902. Are you able to synchronize with my speed? Slow चाहते हैं करना? I can be slow also. Are you able to synchronize with the speed? Slow करना है? Let me know. Is it fine? Okay, Sir John Marshall in 1902. Clear? So that led to revival of archaeological survey of India, how they began to find objects through digging and how they fixed the time and chronology. Latest technique was, a major technique was carbon dating method. Clear? Paragraph बदल लीजिए. Clear? Right. With beginning of archaeological science, Sir clear? Several objects began to be found. And their chronology was fixed with help of human skeletons, clear? That the date of human skeletons is fixed. Through the carbon dating method, scientific technique. Through the carbon dating method. method. Clear? Now, what is this technique? Write about this. Clear? That the amount of accumulated carbon, in a dead body, decomposes at a consistent rate. Decomposes at a consistent rate. Clear? That the half of the carbon content decomposes, the half of the carbon content decomposes in 5, 6, 8 years. Decomposes in 5, 6, 8 years, which is termed as the half-life. Which is termed as half-life. Okay. Right. By multiplying the period of half-life, the age of skeletons can be calculated. The age of skeletons can be calculated. So first of all, process is clear. How the process is being done, clear. So they went on digging, they began to find objects, but these objects were correlated with human skeletons also. Timing was also fixed, clear, and therefore we know that human beings started to evolve way back from the Stone Age, or rather the Ice Age, which was also known as geologically as Pleistocene phase. We'll come to human evolution in the prehistoric phase, clear. This is done through the method. So first of all, understand historiography, the method, the sources, clear. Now, apart from such techniques, clear, when science of excavation began to be done, several archaeological sources began to be found, like inscriptions, then coins, then artifacts, then even monuments as well, clear. First among them, we'll take about inscriptions, clear. Inscriptions are the most authentic source of ancient Indian history. Historians considered inscriptions as lifeblood of history, clear. Most authentic one to sustain history, clear. And because this can not be altered in course of time, it was written on stone surfaces, clear. Coming to inscriptions, just understand from here, clear. Real sources start from here, clear. The first and the most prominent archaeological source which has been found through excavations are large number of inscriptions, clear. The study of inscriptions is known as science of epigraphy, clear. In fact, we come across large number of stone inscriptions which were inscribed by the greatest ruler of ancient India, that is Ashok. We'll come to this personality elaborately, clear. Ashok ruled as Mauryan emperor from the period of 269 BC till 232 BC, clear, which is known as 3rd century BC, clear. First of all, these are initial classes, clear. Are you clear about the concept of BC and AD, clear? Why this classification has been done? Why we say that BC ended in 1st century and we started with positive counting? First of all, question is why this has been done? Why? What is the need? Why did we started to count 0 from the beginning of human evolution? Clear? What was wrong in that? Clear? Why we had a reverse counting for some period and then positive counting after a certain time? Clear? First of all, why it has been done? When it was done, we'll come to that. Why it has been done? When, you must be knowing, with the crucifixion of Jesus Christ that marked the beginning of Christianity, and therefore AD is also known as Christian era. When? Clear? In history, when and what is not important. Important is how and why. Normally, I'll let you know, clear? Normally, the mistake that is done by aspirants is, in history, they perceive history is about what and where. Clear? What, when and where. Clear? They will ask Battle of Plassey, 1757. What was the battle? They will look onto the contestants. That's all. Treaty side. Clear? Why only Plassey? Or the Battle of Plassey? Why and how? Cause and effect. should be cleared in history. That is the real thesis or theme in history. Clear? So first of all, we need to understand why it has been done. Clear? When it has been done, we all know. Clear? When and where, we are very well versed. Clear? Why it has been done. First of all, why it was done? Any reason why it has been done? Any logic? Some logic must have been there. Things began to evolve. But right now we have a date. Not exactly, huh? It can be varying from 1000 years, 2000 years, but normally it is believed that around 5 lakh BC human being began to emerge. They began to emerge in the region of Belan Valley, Narmada Man, as they are known. Clear? We have a year, rough date, 5 lakh BC. Even carbon dating method is not very accurate enough. Clear? But we have a rough estimate. If human beings started around 5 lakh BC, what was wrong that we could not start zero from there on? It could have been done there also. Simply, we could have counted 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, and we could have been in this time at this 2025. We may not have the figure of 2025, we could have another figure. But what was harm in that? Why it was done? First of all, in the first case, why it has been done? Any logic? Accurate dating. You didn't have accurate dating. That's true to some extent. Geological phenomena consume thousands of years, clear, and there was no point of counting them 1, 2, 3, 4 because small geological phenomena consume 10,000 years. True, there's no doubt. Clear? Ice age only. In fact, we as a human being, 99.9% of our ancestors was in the Stone Age. We have been civilized of late. Clear? 99% of the time our ancestors was in Stone Age. Clear? They were nomadic people. They were hunters and gatherers. Clear? Because 5 lakh BC till 10,000 BC. Clear? So 99% of human phase has been spent by the people as nomadic people. Clear? We have civilized much later. Clear? So it's a new phenomenon altogether. People were largely nomadic people. That's true. Clear? Small changes also consume thousands of years. Clear? In fact, the reason, again I'll let you know, clear? The purpose of writing any discipline or purpose of reconstructing any discipline is to make the discipline easier for the aspirants or the people. Clear? Mastery is not about making things complex. Clear? Mastery is about making things as simple as possible. Clear? If we could have counted zero from then, clear, we would be right now sitting not in 2025. We could have some large unmanageable numbers with us. Clear? That could have made things more tough and tough in coming generation. Clear? Purpose is to make anything simple, make anything smart enough. Clear? And that's why historians realize those phenomena which has consumed thousands of years alone, what is the point of counting them from zero? Clear? Let us take them in reverse order. And we need to stop at a point. Clear? From where we can start the positive counting. Clear? In fact, they considered the birth of Christianity, which started with crucifixion of Jesus Christ, as a period to start positive counting, because Christianity started from there and they wanted a new positive era from then. Clear? Before this, everything was divided into reverse order, negative numbers. Clear? So people began to count from there and they realized this is 5 lakh BC when people began to evolve. Clear? Starting from 1st century BC. Clear? So they went in a reverse order and they landed up in 5 lakh BC. Clear? From 1st century AD, they began to count positively with the birth of Christianity, and therefore AD is also known as Christian era. Clear? So we say before Christ and we say after Christ. Clear? So after Christ is known as Anno Dominion. We also call it to be Christian era. Clear? So somewhere we needed to halt. People halted with Christianity in Europe and they started positive counting from there. Clear? All the eras are largely associated with some historical significance, जिसे हम हिंदी में युग कहते हैं. Clear? So युग की शुरुआत होती है with some major personality. It was Jesus Christ for Christianity and they started positive counting. Clear? Gregorian calendar, that is the English calendar, is based on this era, that is Christian era. Clear? But this is not the only era. Even though officially we follow Gregorian calendar, we have multiple eras of our own also. Clear? In fact, the most important era which is followed by Indians in our indigenous culture, that is known as Shaka era, started by Kanishk. Hindi calendar is based on Shaka era, which was started in 78 AD. Clear? So Hindi calendar is 78 years back or 78 years forward from the Gregorian calendar. Clear? So for Hindi calendar, the first year would be 78 AD of Christian era. Clear? So Hindi calendar is 78 years later than the Christian era. And we follow Hindi calendar also. We have 12 months also. The first month is known as Chat, which start on 22nd of March every year. Clear? Which is very clear. In Islamic community, they have their own calendar. They have their own epoch or yug. Clear? And that starts with establishment of Islamic faith in 622 AD. Clear? When Prophet Muhammad migrated from Makkah to Medina. This is known as Hijrat or Great Migration. And from there, they started their own calendar known as Hijri calendar. Clear? And Hijri calendar is 622 years later than the Gregorian calendar. Clear? And that's known as Hijri calendar also. Clear? So Hijri calendars are being 1400 some years as of now, which is because 622 years back from the Gregorian calendar. So every religion has their own calendar. Sikhism has their own calendar as well. Clear? So every religion has their own calendar. For Christianity, it's the Gregorian calendar, which marked the beginning of Christian era to simplify the things. Clear? So obviously simplification to be done by Christianity only. Clear? Not in Islamic faith, not in Hinduism. Why? Because the calendar still started after Gregorian calendar. So there was no need to go back. Clear? But at the same time, it is believed that before 1st century AD, counting has been done in reverse order. After 1st century AD, the counting has been done in positive order to make things simple and easier for understanding. This is the reason. Clear? So why? The reason is to make things simpler, because geological phenomena consume thousands of years alone. Clear? This started, clear, and Ashok was ruling in BC only. Ashok ruled from 269 to 232 BC. Ashok became the first ruler to talk to his subjects directly through his inscriptions. Clear? And those inscriptions which are written as royal order by the monarch himself, those inscriptions are typically known as edicts. Clear? So there's a difference between inscriptions and edicts. Clear? Inscriptions can be written by anyone. Clear? If it is written on rock surface, it is known as inscription. But when inscriptions are written as royal orders by the monarch himself, we call those inscriptions to be edicts. So all edicts are inscriptions, but all inscriptions are not edicts. Clear? This concept should be very clear. Clear? So Ashokan inscriptions are also known as Ashokan edicts. Clear? And all Ashokan edicts were written in Brahmi script and Prakrit language. Clear? Because this was the language understood by masses, and he wanted common masses to understand his message. Clear? Only in the extreme northwestern part of India, his inscriptions are written in Iranian script known as Kharoshti script and Aramaic language. Because in the region like Manshehra, Shehbazgari in Afghanistan, people were more accustomed with this Iranian script and language, not with Prakrit and Brahmi. Clear? So within Indian territory, the inscriptions are written in Prakrit language, Brahmi script. In the northwestern part of India, Ashokan edicts are written in Aramaic language and Kharoshti script. Clear? Because he wanted his messages to be read and understood by masses. Clear? And Ashokan inscriptions are broadly divided into three categories. Clear? These inscriptions are known as 14 major rock edicts, 14 minor rock edicts, and 7 pillar edicts. Clear? What do we mean by these numbers? 14 major rock edicts, 14 minor rock edicts, and 7 pillar edicts of Ashok. Clear? We'll come to this. They are the most important source to know about the greatest ruler of India, that is Ashok. Inscriptions or epigraphy. Clear? Right, first of all, next paragraph. Clear? That among archaeological sources, the most important and authentic, are inscriptions found throughout Indian territory, territory, found throughout Indian territory. Clear? The greatest ruler of ancient India, the greatest ruler of ancient India, Ashok, is known through his inscriptions or edicts, royal proclamation, his inscriptions or edicts, edicts, edicts. Okay? That these edicts were written in popular language, of Prakrit, and Brahmi script. Language and literature. When we'll do culture, we'll discuss Prakrit. Right now, Prakrit is a classical language. Clear? 5 new languages has been added in classical category 2024 only. Clear? These 5 languages including Pali, Prakrit, Assamese, Marathi, all of them is included into classical category. As of now, we have 11 languages in classical category. Clear? At least be prepared about those 11 classical languages of India. Anytime you can get questions in culture on classical languages. Clear? 5 new languages has been added by amending one of the features set by Sahitya Academy by Union Cabinet, and we included 5 new languages in 2024. Clear? We'll come to those all 11 classical languages, Prakrit being one of them. Clear? So all Ashoka inscriptions written in Prakrit and Brahmi script. Since classes are initial, are you clear about difference between language and script? Are you clear about the difference language and script? There's another term known as dialect. Are you clear about dialect also? The script is font. On the basis of font, when you derive words and sentences, it becomes language. Clear? That's language in a written form. Clear? When you speak any language according to your own accent, it's known as dialect. Clear? And one language can have thousands of dialects. Clear? Hindi has got multiple dialects. Clear? It is said that after every 2 kilometers, Hindi changes. Clear? Hindi in Haryana is very different from Hindi in Delhi, and Hindi in Delhi is very different from Hindi in UP and Bihar. Clear? Hindi keeps on changing depending on pronunciation, accent, which is known as dialect. Clear? So 3 terms are there: script, and then the language, and then the dialect. Clear? In fact, the term for script in India is lipi. Clear? In fact, clear, this term lipi has been derived from Iranian word for script. Iranians, when they came to India, they promoted their own script known as Kharoshti script in northwestern part of India, Aramaic language. Clear? They use a term for this script known as DP, and from the word DP we have derived the word lipi for script. Clear? So term for script in Indian culture is lipi. Lipi is largely derived from Iranian word DP. Clear? DP was introduced by Iranians, Kharoshti, and the language developed known as Aramaic. Clear? And these languages or these scripts were written in Aramaic and script in northwestern part of India by Ashok, especially at Shehbazgari, Manshehra, and Khandar, all located in Afghanistan. It's clear. First, Brahmi script and Prakrit language. Right, next. Right, some edicts of Ashok. Some edicts of Ashok in the extreme northwestern part. Some edicts of Ashok in the northwestern part. Were written in Aramaic language. And Kharoshti script, Iranian script, and Kharoshti script. Clear? Prescript. Paragraph badal lijiye. Clear? Right. Ashokan edicts are broadly divided. Ashokan edicts are broadly divided into three categories, broadly divided into three categories, right? Point wise. Three categories. Number one, 14 major rock edicts. 14 major rock edicts. This is a classification. 14 major rock edicts. Second, 14 minor rock edicts. 14 minor rock edicts. And third, 7 pillar edicts. Ashok constructed pillars, stump. 14, 1 4, clear? 14 major rock edicts, similarly 14 minor rock edicts, 7 pillar edicts. Is it clear? Now we'll come to this number. First of all, just understand, clear? What do we mean when we say 14 major rock edicts, 14 minor rock edicts, 7 pillar edicts? What exactly do we mean to say? क्या मतलब है इसका? 14 major rock edicts. Some have more words, some have less. But Ashok wanted to give same message to the people throughout Mauryan Empire. Jitna bhi area hai altogether, he wanted the people to read his complete message. Be in South India, be in North India, be in the northwestern part of India. Importance. 14 major rock edicts were more important, you mean to say. Minor edicts were less important. Okay. One thing. What do the word number 14 indicate here? What does the number 14 indicate here? What does any idea? What does the number 14 indicate here? Number of provinces. Major towns. In all the major towns, he has major rock edicts. Normally, clear? Why I'm discussing things? Normally, there's a perception. Clear? 14 major rock edicts means rock edicts at 14 different places. Normally, clear? There is another person, 14 minor rock edicts means 14 at 14 different places. 7 pillar edicts at 7 different places in Mauryan Empire. Clear? This is a wrong observation. First of all, make it clear. Clear? 14 major rock edicts are found only at 10 places. Clear? And these 10 places are basically Manshehra, Shehbazgari, Khandhar, then we have Kalsi, then Girnar in Gujarat, then Odisha, very important one, Dhauli and Joguda. Clear? They are located only at 10 places. Then why do we call it to be 14 major rock edicts? The reason being, clear? On every rock edict, rock surface, 14 messages of Ashok are inscribed in serial number. Clear? So 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. 14 messages are written by Ashok in every major rock edict. Clear? He wanted to give a complete message to anyone in South or North throughout Mauryan Empire. So whenever he caught 14 or major rock edict inscribed, all his 14 messages were inscribed on them. Clear? These 14 messages same was repeated at 10 different places in Mauryan Empire. Clear? And these therefore known as 14 major rock edicts. Clear? We don't know largely about the 14th message. Why? To understand practically. Clear? These were inscribed and placed on important highways. Clear? Due to dust, due to wind. Clear? Normally materials got accumulated at the lower end of the stone surface. 14th message normally remains to be rather concealed or hidden. Clear? It is visible only till the 13th message of Ashok. Clear? And in all these 14 messages in major rock edict, Ashok has explained his philosophy of Dham, also known as principle to rather integrate heterogeneous sections among all the sections or among the entire Mauryan Empire. Clear? In fact, at 2 places, at message number 7th and 11th, he has repeated his message of harmony and tolerance. Clear? He wanted people to show harmony and tolerance, to unite and to establish a large and centralized empire. Clear? So principles of Dham has been explained by Ashok in 14 major rock edicts. Clear? In 14 minor rock edicts means it is more than at 14 places. Clear? And they contain 14 smaller versions of Ashok. Clear? In which he rather shows his affiliation to Buddhism. He talks about promotion of Buddhist religion. Clear? In fact, he converted to Buddhism after Kaling War, which was fought in 261 BC. Clear? This was done by Ashok. Clear? At the same time, in 7 pillar edicts, Ashok has largely mentioned about his personal life, his information about his personal belongingness, his wife as well. This is mentioned in 7 pillar edicts. The most important pillar constructed by Ashok at Sarnath, which is known as Ashok Stamp. Clear? And the upper part of Sarnath pillar only has been accepted as a state emblem by government of India. Clear? We also call it to be Ashok Stamp. Clear? So 14 major rock edicts, 14 minor rock edicts, and 7 pillar edicts of Ashok, all written in Prakrit language and in Brahmi script, except in northwestern part of India. Clear? These inscriptions were found, but still there was a mystery. Clear? No one was able to correlate that whether these inscriptions belong to Ashok, because all these inscriptions mentioned about a name title as Devanam Piyadasi, which in Prakrit means very close to God, very dear to God. Clear? But no one was able to identify who was this person, Devanam Piyadasi. Clear? This mystery was also resolved by an officer of British East India Company, James Prinsep, in 1837. Clear? James Prinsep was a person who identified that Devanam Piyadasi is none other than Ashok, because some inscriptions in southern part of India, especially at places like the Amravati region and this region, white ones, clear, that is known as Maski, then Brahmagiri, there was mention of Ashok as a name also. Clear? He correlated this name with the same messages given in northern part of India, and he said that Ashok is none other than Devanam Piyadasi. Clear? And when this correlation was developed, mystery was resolved. Clear? We got to know about the policies of the greatest monarch of ancient India, that is Ashok. Clear? So all informations about Ashok are available to us only because of his inscriptions. Clear? And therefore we don't have any confusion about policies of Ashok, because anyone can read these inscriptions very clearly and can reconstruct the history of Ashok at any time. Clear? So we are not dependent only on history books, we are largely dependent on the most primary source, that is edicts or inscriptions of Ashok. Clear? This concept is clear. 14 major rock edicts, minor edicts, and pillar edicts. Clear? Right here. Clear? Right. In the 14 major rock edicts, in the 14 major rock edicts, okay, Ashok has mentioned about the principles of Ashok has mentioned about the principles of Dham, to maintain social harmony and tolerance, social harmony and tolerance, These are major ones. Clear? We'll come to descriptions again when we discuss about Mauryans. Clear? Change paragraph. Right. For several years, these inscriptions could not be associated with Ashok, could not be associated with Ashok as it mentioned the name, name Devanam Piyadasi. It means dear to God. As it mentioned the name Devanam Piyadasi. Devanam Priya. Priya means dear to God. Clear? Devanam Piyadasi. Clear? That this mystery was resolved. This mystery was resolved by an officer of British East India Company. This has been asked in PYQ. Who resolved the mystery? As was resolved by an officer of British British East India Company, James Prinsep. James Prinsep. Keep on locating the PYQs also. Clear? James Prinsep in 1837, 19th century, in 1837. Clear? That he correlated the name of Ashok. He correlated the name of Ashok mentioned in some inscription of South India, mentioned in some inscriptions of South India with the title of Devanam Piyadasi. With the title of Devanam Piyadasi. Yeah. Right. In this way, historians came to know about the greatest monarch of ancient India. Greatest monarch of ancient India. First ruler is Ashok. Clear? Very important one. Clear? So this is major development. See, again, we are repeating the word. I'm repeating the word. Greatest monarch of ancient India. Clear? We had only two great rulers in Indian history. Clear? One was Ashok in ancient India. Another was Akbar in medieval India. That's why we got a question on Akbar in this time mains examination. Akbar's syncretism, religious syncretism. Clear? You can get Ashok next year. Clear? Related to his principle of Dham. We'll come to that. Clear? Because they are the only two great rulers of ancient India. Clear? Why only two great? Other rulers were not great. Pan India. Large area. But large areas were ruled by the Delhi Sultans also in Sultanate phase. Large areas were ruled by Samudragupta also in ancient India. They expanded and consolidated. Ashok conquered only one region, Kaling. Most of the expansion has been done by his father and grandfather, Chandragupta Maurya and Bindusar. Army. In Mauryan Empire, army was first established by the ruler who was known as Mahapadmanan. He is therefore regarded as first empire builder of India. Ashok, when he came to power, Mauryan Empire was already at its glory. Religious reforms. They had welfare activities for the people. Non-violent approach. Ashok assassinated more than 1 lakh people in Kaling War. After that, clear. Do you think Akbar was non-violent? Akbar went to annex major parts in different territories, and that led to huge amount of violence. Tolerant policy. Biography. Record. But you mean to say that those rulers about whom we don't have information, we can get rid of them easily? That would be injustice for those historical personalities, that we are getting rid of them only because sources are not there. Concrete sources there, it's obviously clear. More weightage would be given because we have concrete sources. Akbar has got a very huge biography written by Abul Fazl, known as Akbarnama. It's a comprehensive one, no doubt. 3 volumes are there. The third one known as Ani-Akbari, clear, no doubt. Ashok has huge information through edicts, clear. Okay, so sources are there, but sources are there for the rulers also. If not also, we cannot say that they were not great rulers if we don't have information, clear. Maybe with new discovery, we can get some sources about them also. Clear, point here is clear. In fact, clear, tolerance, a big word used here, clear. In fact, there were more powerful rulers than Ashok and Akbar in entire Indian history, clear. In fact, अगर आप देखेंगे ancient India में the most powerful military ruler was Samudragupta, not even Ashok, clear. Samudragupta expanded his control throughout territory of Indian territory. Clear? And this is also clearly mentioned in a rock inscription only, which is a biographical account of Samudragupta, which is known as Prayag Prashasti, which was written by Hari Singh. Clear? Very important work. Clear? That mentions about the achievements of Samudragupta. Clear? Samudragupta was very powerful one. In fact, he was given the title of Napoleon of India. Clear? But being merely powerful does not mean the ruler is great also. Clear? Apart from being powerful, the greatness really comes with principles of tolerance. Clear? To integrate the heterogeneous sections under homogeneous identity. Clear? The real statesmanship, the real glory comes when a person is able to integrate the diverse community, heterogeneous community under one homogeneous political identity. Clear? That's a statesman approach. Clear? That's what Romila Thapar says. Principle of them was a statesman approach of Ashok. Clear? Because he united heterogeneous sections of the society under one homogeneous political identity. वो क्या बात कहते हैं धम्म में? Clear? Not a new thing. Social code of conduct. The younger should respect the elders. The you person should respect the Brahmins and the teachers. The person should rather follow tolerance and harmony. Nothing new. Even Akbar did not say anything new in Sulh Kol. Only said that unity among all the religions. Clear? Nothing new to be given. Only a code of conduct to be given to unite the heterogeneous sections under homogeneous political identity. Clear? And anyone who does that, it becomes not only powerful, it becomes great. Clear? In this parameter, only two rulers fits well in Indian history. One is Ashok, another is Akbar. Clear? Because greatness comes not only with political glory, greatness comes with tolerance and harmony, whereby how much you are able to integrate the heterogeneous sections under homogeneous political identity. Clear? Anyone who does that becomes not only powerful, becomes great also in Indian history. Clear? So there are only two rulers who fit in this parameter, Ashok and Akbar. Clear? So Ashok is considered to be the greatest ruler of ancient India, and we all come to know through all these inscriptions whereby he tried to unite heterogeneous sections of society under homogeneous political identity. Clear? This was a master stroke. This was statesman approach of Ashok during his rule. Clear? And all these informations come down to us through inscriptions or epigraphy. Clear? Now, apart from this, clear? Coming to the sources of epigraphy. Clear? After the death of Ashok, he died in the year 232 BC. Clear? After this, weak Mauryan rulers came to rule. Mauryan Empire began to decline and disintegrate. Clear? By 2nd century BC, Mauryan Empire finally came to an end. Clear? And this phase that started after Mauryans from 2nd century BC till 3rd century AD, that's period of 500 years. This is known in history as post-Mauryan phase. Clear? So we call in history this phase as post-Mauryan phase, that is after the decline of Mauryans from 2nd century BC till the 3rd century AD, when large rulers began to rule over India. Clear? This post-Mauryan phase is very important for science of epigraphy. Clear? Why this phase is very important for epigraphy? This phase, according to Delhi University professor Upinder Singh, it was a marked or phase of interaction and assimilation. Clear? Why we call this phase to be interactive and assimilating in nature? Because after decline of Mauryans, several tribes began to enter India from Central Asia through northwestern part of India. Clear? Do understand one concept also related to history. Clear? In fact, last to last year, आपसे mains examination with was a question GS paper 1. How far geographical factors shape the course of ancient Indian history? This question has been asked. Clear? Geography and history goes hand in hand. Clear? Geography is about study of space. Clear? And history is about study of time. Clear? And time and space cannot develop isolationally, in an isolation. Both needs to converge at similar level. Clear? How far geographical factors do understand this phenomena also, it's very important to understand. Clear? In fact, right from ancient India, this is a very important concept to be understood throughout Indian history. Clear? Throughout Indian history, clear? India has been attacked and the course of history has changed only from one corner of Indian territory. Clear? And this corner through which all invaders has entered India, this is always the northwestern part of India. Clear? Do understand, very important one. Clear? In modern history, the question has been asked in 2013, the very first question of GS paper 1, why all empire-shaking battles were fought at Panipat? Clear? Answer lies in geography of India, not only in history. Clear? Because empire-shaking battles has been fought at Panipat, 3 battles. Clear? First between Babur and Ibrahim Lodi, second between Akbar and Himu, and third between Marathas and Ahmad Shah Abdali. Clear? The reason is, clear? If you look into India's location on the world, clear? India is well defended by all its sides through natural frontiers. Clear? We are defended from Kashmir up to Arunachal by Himalayas and its ranges. Clear? No one could attack India by overpowering Himalayas. Clear? No one can do it in ancient medieval India. No one can do that even in present time. So we are blessed to be defended on northern side by Himalayas and its ranges from Hindu Kush up to the region of Arunachal and northeast. Clear? Coming to the southern part of India, we are well defended in the entire southern part of India through large water bodies. Clear? That's Indian Ocean to the south, Bay of Bengal to the east, Arabian Sea on the west. Clear? Naval power was not so developed to attack India from the sea belt. Clear? Even British came to India not as attackers, invaders. They came to India merely as traders. Clear? They never came to India to attack India. They came only for the purpose of trade. Clear? So we had been defended well from the southern side as well. Clear? There has been only one vulnerable region for India's security since ancient time, and that region is the northwest frontier region. All invaders who has attacked India, they have come only from northwestern side, starting with Aryans in 1500 BC till the modern invaders like Nadir Shah or Ahmad Shah Abdali. Come to the contemporary times, even the latest attack in Pahalgam, clear, that indicate the vulnerability of northwestern part of India. Clear? This has always been very sensitive for India, vulnerable neck for India. Clear? And that is why, clear, after Mauryans also declined, several Central Asian tribes, they crossed Central Asian region because they could not cross Himalayan belt, and they entered India from northwestern side. Clear? 4 major tribes came to India in succession. First among them were Indo-Greeks, then followed by Shakas, then followed by Parthians, and the most important being Kushans. Clear? The most important Kushan ruler being Kanishk. Clear? All of them entered India in succession, one after another from northwestern part of India. Clear? After Indo-Greeks, the next tribe to enter India were Shakas. Clear? When Shakas entered India, they did not rule over Punjab, the northwestern province. They came to the region of Gujarat from this part. Clear? And they began to rule over the region of Kathiawar, southern part of Gujarat. Clear? When they began to rule, the most important ruler was Rudradaman. Clear? Ruled in 2nd century BC. Clear? AD. Clear? Even though being a foreigner, clear, Rudradaman was master of Sanskrit language. Clear? And after mastering Sanskrit language, Rudradaman became the first ruler of ancient history to issue an inscription in pure Sanskrit. Clear? Even Ashok never issued any inscription in Sanskrit. Clear? First Sanskrit inscription in pure language was issued by Rudradaman. This inscription is known as Girnar inscription. It is also known as Junagarh inscription of Rudradaman. Clear? And what is so important about this inscription to reconstruct ancient history? Clear? This region was semi-arid region. Water conservation was a big challenge. Clear? And therefore from ancient time there was a dam to store water in Kathiawar, and this dam was on the lake known as Sudarshan Lake. Clear? Due to some natural calamity, the dam got affected. Clear? And Rudradaman, according to Junagarh inscription, got the dam repaired through his personal resources to store the water for irrigation and other activities. Clear? So one progressive role played by Rudradaman was that he repaired the dam on Sudarshan Lake, which is clearly mentioned in Junagarh or Girnar inscription. It is the first inscription to be written in Sanskrit language, and this inscription is known as Girnar or Junagarh. This inscription has another merit. Clear? This inscription was written in poetic style of Sanskrit, which is also known as Kavya style of Sanskrit. Clear? So this inscription is written not in the prose style, not in narration form. It is written in the form of poetic style, also known as Kavya style of writing inscription. Clear? A very important development took place in post-Mauryan phase, and we have the first Sanskrit inscription written at this time. Clear? Post-Mauryan phase is also important because after decline of Mauryans, some dynasties indigenously were also established in India, and among them major dynasty was established in the region of present Maharashtra, and that dynasty was known as the Satvahans. Clear? Satvahans were followers of Brahmanical faith, but they were tolerant towards Buddhism and Jainism as well. Clear? And Satvahans are known to us through inscriptions again. Clear? In fact, during the rule of Satvahans, 2 women wrote inscriptions at this time, which indicate that women were given proper respect in Satvahan dynasty. Clear? One inscription is known as Nane Ghat inscription, which is located in the district of Pune, and another inscription is known as Nasik inscription, located in Maharashtra. Clear? And both of them were written by women, which provide important information about Satvahan rulers in post-Mauryan phase. Clear? This was another region. Clear? Post-Mauryan phase is important in the science of epigraphy because there was another dynasty in the region of Orissa. Clear? And that dynasty was known as Meghvarman dynasty. Clear? There was a ruler in this dynasty known as Kharwale. Clear? He constructed some rock-cut caves in the region of Dhauli near Bhubaneswar. Clear? These caves are known as Hathi Gumfa caves. Clear? Gumfa is a term for cave. Clear? Hathi Gumfa because in front of this cave we have 2 sculptures of elephants. Clear? And on the walls of this cave he got an inscription written for himself. Clear? What is so important about this inscription of Kharwale? 13 years of his rule are mentioned in this inscription, and that too in perfect chronology. Clear? So year wise year, 13 years of his rule is mentioned, which indicate sense of historiography and chronology prevailed in ancient India, and therefore this inscription becomes very important for reconstructing the history of Kharwale, and indicate that Kharwale was a Jain follower and he promoted trade from here with China also and with Southeast Asia as well. Clear? All information is coming from inscriptions in Hathi Gumfa cave, which is located near Bhubaneswar in modern Odisha. Clear? So in post-Mauryan phase, we had inscriptions of Sanskrit by Rudradaman. We have 2 major inscriptions among Satvahans written by women, and 1 inscription located in eastern part of India in the region of modern Odisha. Big development, post-Mauryan phase, inscriptions. We have elaborate information about this phase. This is clear first. Right about the post-Mauryan phase. Clear? That in the field of epigraphy, the post-Mauryan phase proved to be highly important, as several inscriptions were written. Okay. Right. Next, a ruler of Central Asian tribe, of Shakas, ruler of a Central Asian tribe of Shakas, Rudradaman, Central Asian tribe of Shakas, Rudradaman inscribed inscribed, inscribed. An inscription, an inscription at Girnar, inscription at Girnar or Junagadh, Girnar or Junagadh or Junagadh, okay, which is written in pure Sanskrit, which is written in pure Sanskrit, in Kavya style, poetic style, pure Sanskrit and Kavya style, poetic style. Yeah, like this inscription mentions about this inscription mentions about the repair of a dam, repair of a dam on the lake Sudarshan, on the lake Sudarshan, to ensure availability of water. Semi-arid region, to ensure availability of water. Clear? In fact, एक और concept में आप समझ लीजिए. Clear? It's very important to predict the question also in this examination. Clear? What is the point of analyzing PYQs and what are the informations to get from PYQs? Clear? Not only looking by topic wise topic. Clear? There's another way to analyze PYQs also. Clear? In fact, to catch the pulse of this subject, you need to understand certain phenomena. Clear? In fact, अगर आप देखेंगे, western part of India comprising of Gujarat and Rajasthan, clear, and even the western coastal belt of India, clear. This entire region is basically a region known as water scarce region, clear. This is known as semi-arid region, and always remember, clear, whenever you prepare any dynasty, any ruler from this region, always remember, if any ruler has contributed towards water conservation technique, clear, it will surely be asked in any term form of question. Always remember this, clear, because obviously in semi-arid region, the most progressive rule of a ruler was to first of all provide water availability for economic sustenance, clear. So whenever you prepare this region, whether it's ancient India, medieval India, modern India, always remember, as soon as you come to any dynasty, just look into point whether any ruler has contributed to water conservation or not, because it is widely appreciated not only in India, across the world, clear. In fact, I'll let you know, clear, there's one site of Indus Valley civilization in Gujarat, which is the only site from India to be included in UNESCO's World Heritage Site, clear, and that site is Dholavira in Gujarat, clear. Why it has been included in World Heritage category? Because Dholavira is largely known for water conservation techniques, construction of dams, and even techniques like water harvesting, clear, and therefore this is the only site from India to be included in World Heritage category, clear. Even we have Indus Valley sites like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, but right now they are with Pakistan, clear. So within India, only Dholavira, clear. In fact, agar aap dekhenge, just 3 years back, there was a question prelims examination, who among the following rulers constructed a dam on Tungabhadra river up to the capital city of Hampi, clear. That was Vijayanagar ruler Dev Raya first, clear. आपसे क्वेश्चंस ऐसे पूछना आपको लगता है एब्स्ट्रैक्ट है, ये एब्स्ट्रैक्ट नहीं है, क्लियर, बिकॉज अगर आप हिस्ट्री पढ़ते हैं तो मेक इट वेरी क्लियर, क्लियर, कौन कौन से रीजन वाइज स्पेशल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है, यू नीड टू नो टू अंडरस्टैंड और प्रेडिक्ट द क्वेश्चन, क्लियर. सो जब भी आप राजस्थान, जब भी आप गुजरात करेंगे, जब भी आप वेस्टर्न कोस्ट ऑफ इंडिया करेंगे, ऑलवेज रिमेंबर any ruler contributing towards water conservation is always important for your examination, clear. This, remember this thing very clearly, it's very important, clear. In fact, this time also in prelims 2025, some people are wondering why this question has been done. We did in the class itself, clear, and that was related to the technique of water device developed by Delhi Sultan Firoz Shah Tughlaq, which was known as Persian wheel. Clear? The Sanskrit term for Persian wheel is known as Araghat or Ghati Yantra. Clear? And they simply ask the question, what does the term Araghat indicate in medieval times? Clear? And it was not for the first time that Araghat has been asked. If you look into PYQ, it has been asked earlier also. In fact, it was a repetition this time. Clear? So Araghat or Ghati Yantra has been asked this time. Clear? It was basically lifting of water device with a pulley. Clear? That is, pots are raised, parts go into the deep water, they drain automatically at the upper hand, and this leads to drain or rather procurement of water. Clear? Always remember, जब आप South India जाएंगे, always remember one thing, all dynasties and rulers has fought only for one thing, water sharing. Clear? Because why? South India, you have to understand, all the rivers originate along the Western Ghat of India, and after originating from Western Ghat, they cross the entire peninsular plate and they drain into Bay of Bengal. Clear? Because peninsular plate is tilted from west to east. Clear? And all these rivers are not perennial. Clear? Because these rivers of South India are only rain fed. Clear? Unlike the rivers of North India, which are both rain fed and snow fed. Clear? So we don't have any dearth of water in North India, because obviously we face floods also. Clear? Because rivers are rain fed and snow fed, but rivers in South India are only rain fed. Clear? So every dynasty wanted to have larger catchment area of the water. Clear? And that is why it led to major conflict. Clear? In ancient India, Chalukyas and Pallavas fought for Krishna Tungabhadra waters. Clear? In medieval India, this conflict was between Bahmani and Vijayanagar. Clear? In modern India, it was a conflict between Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, leading to separation of Telangana. Clear? And as of now, for several decades, we have seen the conflict of Kaveri water dispute among the rulers of southern part of India, states of southern part. Clear? So make some concepts very clear. Clear? Questions abstract nahi hote hain. Clear? You need to have mastery over the subject. Ki questions bante kaise hain. Clear? In fact, you need to understand, anyone who will make the paper, they will understand, they will ask, let us see that candidates know about any water conservation technique in semi-arid region of western and western part of India. Why we constructed large number of Baulis? Baulis are known as step wells. Rajputs constructed large number of step wells in western part of India, because water has been the most important necessity. Clear? Obviously, for water, they constructed Baulis or step wells also. Clear? You need to know about step wells as well, constructed by the rulers. Clear? In between step well, there were Suraj Kund also. Clear? And in Suraj Kund surrounding, they constructed some temples also known as Sun Temple. The most important Sun Temple being Modhera, Gujarat. Clear? These are very important concepts to be known. Clear? Every concept is correlated. Clear? So first of all, when you prepare any territory, obviously you need to understand what is the distinctive features of those regions. Clear? So whenever we come to Western India, whenever we come to Western coast, always remember, any ruler contributing to water conservation becomes very important for examination. Dev Raya first was also asked. Rudra Raman can anytime be asked. It has been asked also, because it mentions about repair of dam on Sudarshan Lake to conserve water and to use for irrigation purposes. Clear? This inscription is very important, known as Girnar or Junagadh inscription. Literary qualities, it is written in pure Sanskrit in poetic form. This is one. Coming to another part, that is in the western coast, there was another dynasty of Satvahans. Clear? And most distinctive thing is, inscriptions were written by women. Clear? That shows respect for women in Satvahan kingdom. Clear? Right, next paragraph. In the post-Mauryan phase, inscriptions were written during the rule of Satvahans in Western India, during the rule of the Satvahans in Western India. Clear? Right. A queen of Satvahan dynasty, a queen, Queen, a queen of Satvahan dynasty, Naganika. A queen of Satvahan dynasty, Naganika wrote the Nanek Ghat inscription, wrote the Nanek Ghat inscription, which is presently located, inscription, Nanek Ghat inscription, which is presently located in the district of Pune. It's a tourist destination also. Clear? All should visit. Nanek Ghat inscription in the district of Pune. Most important thing is, this region is known as reverse waterfall. Reverse waterfall means water comes down from the cliff. Due to strong winds flowing, those water reverts back to the cliff region. Clear? And that gives a very soothing breeze to the people standing on the cliff. This is known as reverse waterfall. Waterfall reverses back due to strong winds. Clear? Very important tourist destination known as Nanek Ghat. Nanek Ghat located in Pune region of Maharashtra. Clear? This inscription read by a woman, Naganika. Clear? That in this inscription Naganika mentions about the achievements of her husband, mentions about achievements of her husband, Shatkarni first. Mentions the achievements of her husband, Shatkarni first, who also defeated Shakas. Nepan, not Rudranman. Who also defeated Shakas in Gujarat. Not finally, but conflict took place. Also defeated Shakas in Gujarat. Clear? That's one achievement written clearly about a person, Shatkarni first. Clear? That another inscription in Satvahan kingdom, was written by a royal lady, Gautami, Balashri. Gautami Balashri, SRI, Gautami Balashri, about her son, Gautami Putra, Shatkarni. Gautami Putra means son of Gautami Balashri. Gautami Putra Shatkarni, the greatest ruler among, the powerful ruler among Satvahans. Clear? That in fact, Gautami Putra Shatkarni, was the most powerful ruler, among Satvahans, and he was given the title of the Lord of the South, Dakshin Patpati. Clear? He was given the title of Lord of the South. We'll come to this title when we discuss Satvahans. Dakshin Patpati. Clear? The head of entire South India. Clear? Lord of the South. Title given by Gautami Balashri. Clear? So we come to know about rulers because of two inscriptions. One is Nanek Ghat, another is inscription of Gautami Balashri. This inscription is located at Nasik. Clear? That this inscription is located in the district of Nasik, Maharashtra. In the district of classic. We can have another conclusion also. Clear? That both these inscriptions written by royal ladies, both these inscriptions written by royal ladies indicate better position for, indicate written by royal ladies, ROYAL, indicate better position of women, better position of women. Okay. So here Rudradaman, then we have Satvahans, then we have another one that is in Eastern India, and that is Kharwale, who wrote inscription in Hathi Gumfa caves. Please. Both these inscriptions written by royal ladies. Royal means ROYAL. Royal ladies means ladies belonging to the ruling family. Okay. Royal ladies. Royal ladies means ruling class. Clear. Not the common one. Clear. Clear. Royal ladies. So both that is Gautami Balashri and then Naganika. Clear. So this major development, even though society was not matrilineal, clear, but women enjoyed respectable position. We'll come to concept also when women enjoyed respectable position, when condition of women becomes so deteriorate. We'll come to those phenomena also. Everything emerges from history. Clear. So first of all, this thing. Clear. So two inscriptions in post-Mauryan phase from Satvahans, one more from eastern part of India, and that was by Kharwale. We'll come to contribution of Kharwale. Clear. Hathi Gumfa inscription, which is located in the Hathi Gumfa caves, located in Holi region, Bhubaneswar in Odisha. Clear. Right. Next paragraph. In the post-Mauryan phase, in the post-Mauryan phase, epigraphy was promoted in Eastern India. Epigraphy was promoted in Eastern India by Kharwale. Eastern India by Kharwale. Who constructed Hathi Gumfa cave? Who constructed Hathi Gumfa cave in Odisha? Hathi Gumfa cave in Odisha. Okay. Right. On the walls of this cave, there is a large inscription. There is a large inscription which mentions about the rule of Kharwale. Which mentions about the rule of Kharwale. For 13 years, rule of Kharwale for 13 years in chronological order. In chronological order. Clear? That this indicate a sense of history writing. This indicate a sense of history writing in ancient India. History writing in ancient India. Yeah. So all these are royal inscriptions written by the rulers. Clear? Now after this, clear, we have another variant of inscriptions that starts from here. Clear? Which is that variant? Clear? Variant is that some inscriptions were written in ancient India in the form of biography of the rulers. Clear? In fact, the entire life of the ruler was written in the form of inscriptions. Clear? These are known as biographical account. Clear? We have a Sanskrit word for such biographical inscription. These term or inscriptions are known as prashastis. Clear? And several prashastis or biographies were written in ancient time. Clear? After post-Mauryan phase only, after 3rd century AD, North India came under the rule of a dynasty known as the Guptas in India. Guptas ruled with the capital located at Prayag. Prayag, presently known as Prayagraj, also known as Allahabad. Clear? So they ruled from the capital city of Prayag. Clear? And among the Gupta rulers, the most powerful ruler was Samudragupta. Clear? And he is known to us completely through epigraphy because his biography has been written by his court poet Hari Sen. Clear? It is an inscription comprising of 33 lines in Sanskrit which has glorified Samudragupta. Clear? If we believe in this Prashasti at Prayag, also known as Prayag Prashasti, clear? It is very clear Samudragupta never faced any defeat throughout his military career. Clear? Since he was never defeated, he was also given the title of the Napoleon of India. Clear? All informations coming from Prayag Prashasti written by Hari Sen. This is one class of example related to Prashastis. Clear? Related to Prashastis, we have much more important account. Clear? At the same time, when Guptas were ruling in the southern part of India, two dynasties were established known as the Chalukyas and the Pallavas. Clear? Chalukyas with the capital at Badami or Vatapi in modern Karnataka. Clear? Pallavas with the capital at Kanchi or Kanchipuram in the present state of Tamil Nadu. Clear? They too began to fight against each other. Clear? And in this fight, the most powerful Chalukyan ruler was Pulakeshin II. Clear? And his Prashasti has also been written by a court poet on a rock surface. Clear? This Prashasti is located at Ahyole in the region of Karnataka, not far away from Badami. Clear? And in Ahyole Prashasti, Ravikriti, the writer, has mentioned about achievements of Pulakeshin II. Clear? Now look into the information. Clear? Ravikriti clearly writes that Pulakeshin II was the most powerful ruler. He even defeated Pallavas. Clear? And at the same time, Pulakeshin II also defeated his contemporary ruler of North India. Clear? This ruler was Harshvardhan, who was ruling with his capital at Kannauj. Clear? After unifying North India, Harshvardhan wanted to have control over South as well. And with such objective, he tried to cross the river Narmada. Clear? But on the banks of Narmada, Harshvardhan was defeated by Pulakeshin II, which is clearly mentioned in his Prashasti written by Ravikriti. Clear? Now here you have to compare between inscriptions and literary sources. Clear? Biography of Harshvardhan is also available. Clear? But not in form of Prashasti. Clear? Biography of Harshvardhan is available in form of literary work. Clear? This biography is titled as Harsh Charitra, written by his court poet Ban Bhatt. Clear? Now when we have to compare, what is the problem? Clear? And how this comparison leads to authenticity of inscriptions. Clear? Ban Bhatt in Harsh Charitra writes, clear, Harshvardhan was the most powerful ruler. Harshvardhan defeated all the rulers of North India, but Harshvardhan could not defeat Pulakeshin II. This is the way of defending your master. Clear? You concealed the major weakness of Harshvardhan. Clear? He said that Harshvardhan was a powerful ruler. He defeated many rulers of North India, but could not defeat Pulakeshin II. But the reality is, Harshvardhan got defeated by Pulakeshin II, which is clearly mentioned in Ahyole Prashasti of Pulakeshin II. That is why it is said, if comparison has to be done between literary sources and inscriptions, priority should be given to inscriptions as they are more authentic in nature and at the same time they are the lifeblood of history. Clear? Because literary sources can be changed and literary sources were written to glorify the master. Glorification was done in Prashastis also. Clear? but that once it was written, it could not be altered. Clear? But in literary sources, things can be altered in course of time as well. Clear? These two makes classic comparison between two biographies, one in form of Prashasti, another in form of literary account. Clear? This is clear. Two Prashastis, one of Samudragupta, another of Pulakeshin II. Please. Yeah, he also knows Lord of South. Many rulers took the title of Lord of South. Clear? But the real Lord of South was Gautamiputra Shatkarni. Clear? Because Pulakeshin II or Pulakeshin II, clear, was later on defeated and killed by Pallava ruler. That Pallava ruler was Narasimha Varman first. Clear? And that marked the end of Pulakeshin II. Clear? But he was a powerful ruler, no doubt. But Narasimha Varman first was more powerful than Pulakeshin II. Clear? So he cannot be taken as a true Lord of the South. The Lord of the South title goes with Gautamiputra Shatkarni. It's clear. Comparison clear hai. Right about this. Clear? Right. In the field of epigraphy, in the field of epigraphy, clear? Biographies were written for several rulers, known as Prashastis. Yeah, that the first Prashasti was written for Gupta ruler, Samudragupta, by his court poet, Hari Sen. Clear? That this Prashasti is located at Prayagraj, is located at Prayag, that contain 33 lines in Sanskrit, about military achievement, of Samudragupta, Okay? Right. If this account is believed, then Samudragupta never faced any defeat. In his military career. And came to be known as the Napoleon of India. Even though this title is not accepted now, it is highly controversial. Clear? Napoleon of India. Clear? The reason being, Samudragupta never faced any defeat throughout his military career. Clear? Napoleon faced defeat. Clear? Napoleon got defeated twice. Clear? One in the Battle of Leipzig in Germany, 1813, and then finally in the battlefield of Waterloo in 1815. Clear? So Napoleon was defeated twice. Samudragupta was not defeated. Clear? In fact, the right approach would happen to declare Napoleon to be Samudragupta of Europe. Clear? That would be the right title. Clear? It's a colonial version given by V.A. Smith. V.A. Smith was a pure colonial historian who compared and demeaned Indian rulers. Clear? So obviously, Samudragupta was not comparable to Napoleon. Samudragupta never faced any defeat. Napoleon faced defeats twice in his military career. Clear? So not a justified title, that is Napoleon of India. Clear? This major development, clear? For your information, this inscription, why it is important, clear? जहां पे ये inscription located है in Allahabad, that is Prayagraj, clear? On the one side, Sanskrit version is written by Hari Sen, which is filled with violence and military exploits of Samudragupta. Clear? उसी rock surface के दूसरी side, clear? Principles of Dhamma given by Ashok is mentioned, written in Prakrit and Brahmi script. Clear? So same rock surface is there at Prayag. Clear? On the one hand, we have information about Samudragupta in Sanskrit, filled with violence. Clear? On the other hand, we have information about Ashokan Dham, filled with non-violent principles, and that was written in Prakrit language. We have same rock surface located at Prayag. Clear? But very important source to know about Ashok also on the one hand and Samudragupta also on the other hand. Clear? Located at Prayag, modern Prayagraj. Clear? In the category of Prashasti, we have more important Prashasti of Pulakeshin, second, written by Ravikriti, his court poet. Clear? Coming to second one. Clear? Change paragraph. In the category of Prashastis, in the category of Prashastis, clear? Prashastis, the most authentic was the Ayole Prashasti. The most authentic was Ayole Prashasti of Chalukyan ruler, Pulakeshin second. Chalukyan ruler Pulakeshin second. Written by his court poet. Ravikriti. Written by his court poet Ravikriti. Clear? Right. According to this source, Pulakeshin second was a powerful ruler. We'll come to all of them separately. Pulakeshin second was a powerful ruler who even defeated the ruler of North India, Harshvardhan. बहुत बार PYQs में है ये क्वेश्चन. Clear? Defeated the ruler of North India, Harshvardhan, on the banks of Narmada. Harshvardhan on the banks of Narmada. We have concrete information here. Clear? I'm coming to another biography of Harshvardhan, which is a literary work. Clear? Right. However, we have another version of this story. Another version of this story in the literary biography of Harshvardhan. Title as Harshvardhan, Harshcharit. Written by An Bhatt. Another court poet. Harshcharit written by An Bhatt. Clear? Right. According to this source, Harshvardhan defeated the rulers of North India. Harshvardhan defeated the rulers of North India, but could not defeat. That's the way of defending a master. Clear? But could not defeat. Pulakeshin second. Reality is something else. But could not defeat Pulakeshin second. Okay? Right. Therefore, inscriptions are considered to be more authentic than more authentic than literary sources. More authentic than literary sources. There's a clear-cut example here. Clear? So, Prashasti of Pulakeshin second. Clear? In fact, in this category, clear, the major court poets acted as sycophants of the master. They were all paid service. Clear? In fact, in this category, the biggest sycophant of Indian history has been Abul Fazl. Clear? In fact, Akbar got his entire biography written in front of him by Abul Fazl. Clear? Because Akbar was completely an illiterate person. Clear? So he realized something may be written against him in his biography. Clear? So every sentence, clear, which was written in his biography was first dictated by Abul Fazl to Akbar. Clear? When there was silent approval by Akbar, clear, then the line was written. Even if there was shift in his eyebrows, clear, Abul Fazl used to change the statement immediately. Clear? So this biography of Akbar is a clear-cut example of pure sycophancy by Abul Fazl. Clear? Because Akbar being illiterate, Akbar never wanted even a single sentence to be written without his information. And he knew he won't be able to read and understand. He wanted every line to be written after being dictated. Clear? And this was done by Abul Fazl. Clear? So Akbar became great not only by himself. Akbar became great also because of several personalities, including Abul Fazl and 9 other luminaries in his court known as Navratna. Clear? All Navratna, including Abul Fazl, made Akbar a great monarch of medieval times. Clear? So, great example of sycophancy is Akbarnama. Clear? Here also, Harshvardhan or rather Banbhat also did the same thing. Clear? He glorified Harshvardhan, said that he defeated many rulers of North India but could not defeat Pulakeshin second. That doesn't mean Harshvardhan got defeated, but it is clarified in a Yole inscription that Harshvardhan got defeated by Pulakeshin second. Clear? This is comparison between literary and inscriptions. Clear? This major sources of inscriptions are available. All these inscriptions are used basically to understand the approaches, the contribution, the achievement of the rulers, and they are the most authentic one to reconstruct ancient Indian history. Clear? This is science of epigraphy. Clear? Apart from epigraphy as archaeological source, we have another source as archaeological source which is equally relevant, and that is large number of coins found in ancient India. The study of coins is known as the science of numismatics. Clear? When did the coins started in India? What are the information derived from the coins of ancient India? Will come to these major references by coins available. Clear? In fact, circulation of coins for the first time started in India around 5th century BC, not before that. Clear? Even before that, we had a very important civilization known as Indus Valley civilization in 2nd millennium BC. Clear? Trade and commerce operated there also. Clear? And for trade and commerce, you need currency or coins for medium of transaction. Clear? But what was the medium of transaction in Indus Valley civilization? These were normally seals. Clear? So large number of seals were produced, and these seals were used as commercial transaction within internal trade. Clear? External trade could not be operated on seals. Why will the other countries accept the seals made of terracottas? Clear? In fact, external trade in Indus Valley civilization was based on barter system. Clear? We exported valuable items, we took another item in exchange, and this trade was operated with contemporary civilization known as Sumerian or Mesopotamian civilization. Clear? So external trade with help of barter system, internal trade with the seals. Clear? So coins cannot be accepted as true coins in Indus Valley. Clear? Coins began to be circulated in the Gangetic Plain around 5th century BC when abundant agriculture produce took place in the Gangetic Plain. Clear? With abundant agriculture produce, people diverted to trade and commerce. And to promote this trade and commerce, they needed mediums of transaction. Clear? And for the first time, people began to produce a kind of coins known as punch-marked coins. Clear? These coins were largely made of silver and copper, and certain symbols were punched on them to ensure its acceptability. Clear? So metallic currency began to be circulated for the first time in 5th century BC. Clear? What informations can be derived from these coins? Clear? Not only trade, not only economy, political informations largely, because by 5th century BC, the entire Gangetic Plain was marked by 16 large kingdoms known as Mahajanpas. Clear? In fact, we have demarcated, historians have demarcated the political boundary of Mahajanpas depending on punch-marked coins. Clear? Because after a certain extent, the punch-marked coin gets changed and other symbols are found on those coins that indicate rule of another ruler was there from that region. So political boundaries has been demarcated of 16 Mahajanpas, largely based on circulation of coins. Clear? In fact, coins are always symbol of sovereignty. There's a phrase also, no? Sikka chalna. Clear? Till the time your sikka is circulating, you have a political control. Point the point, your sikka is not circulating, you don't have any political control. Clear? Sikka or coins became symbols of sovereignty, and with the existence of those coins, we have demarcated the political boundary of 16 large kingdoms known as Mahajanpas. Clear? These were known as punch-marked coins. Clear? These coins continued to be circulated from the period of Mahajanpas till the Mauryan Empire. Clear? And Mauryan Empire was the first empire in which officers and soldiers were paid cash salaries. Clear? This is clearly mentioned in Arthashastra of Kautilya. Clear? And in fact, Arthashastra mentions about cash salaries to officers. These salaries range from 60 coins to 48,000 coins. Clear? The term for coins used in Mauryan period is known as panas or karsapanas. Clear? So punch-marked coins were given definite name known as panas or karsapanas. The salary ranged from 60 panas to 48,000 panas. What does it indicate? Clear? High range of bureaucracy was maintained by Mauryan emperor, because lowest officer was given only 60 coins, highest officer was given 48,000, which indicate in between there were large cadre of bureaucratic officers. Clear? So centralized bureaucracy existed in Mauryan Empire, which is also indicated by range of salary indicated by coins. Clear? This continued up to Mauryan period. Clear? When Mauryans declined, clear, numismatics got radically changed in India with arrival of Central Asian tribes like the Indo-Greeks, then followed by Shakas, Parthians and Kushans. Clear? Because these rulers brought a new metal to India, and this metal was gold from Central Asia, and they began to mint gold coins for the first time in India. Clear? Silver and copper, because copper has always been found in India from Khetri mines in Rajasthan. Silver was imported from other parts, and silver and copper coins were made known as punch-marked coins. Clear? Gold coins began to be circulated only with arrival of Central Asian rulers, which indirectly indicate India's connectivity with Central Asia in the post-Mauryan phase, which is termed as phase of interaction and assimilation. Clear? This all information is right from numismatics or the coins. Is it clear? हाँ पूछिए please. They were? Yeah, they performed the role of coins and trademarks. But again, why seals were used as currency or coinage? Clear? Because one thing that was very unique about Indus Valley civilization was that Indus Valley civilization was ruled by centralized authority. Uniform decision making was there. That is? No. Again, I'll let you know. Clear? Because again, there, see, anything that we say about Indus Valley civilization may not be concrete. Why? Because the pictographic script has not been deciphered yet. Clear? But again, there is least controversy related to centralized decision making. क्यों कहते हैं ऐसा? Clear? In fact, not because of seals also, not because of coins. Clear? Why do we say that? Clear? Harappans constructed large number of monuments. Clear? Monuments are found in all the cities, spread across 13 lakh square kilometer. That's the range of area. Clear? The cities are there in Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, Lothal, Kalibangan, Rakhigarhi, and so on. Many cities. Clear? The best part was that all the structures like granary and houses were constructed in the cities with the help of burnt bricks, also known as baked bricks. We also use a term sun-dried bricks. Clear? So they were sun-dried bricks, they were baked bricks. We also call it to be burnt bricks. Clear? And the best part with all these bricks is, clear, the size of the bricks has been kept uniform. Clear? Throughout Indus Valley civilization. Clear? Such uniformity cannot be there until and unless there was a centralized decision making body. Clear? If rulers or people change from city to city, obviously the first thing that will change is dimensions of objects used, and obviously they will change even the size of bricks also. It can be large, it can be small, but maintenance of uniform size of the bricks throughout Indus Valley civilization clearly indicate one thing: centralized decision making was there. Clear? Not only this, clear, large number of seals which has also been found, the symbols which has been made on the seal, they are uniform throughout Indus Valley civilization. It does not vary. Clear? They have some people tree. There are some seals depict even the male divinity known as Pashupati Mahadev. Even he is surrounded by animals: elephant, tiger, rhinoceros, and buffalo. These animals has also not been changed. Even their symmetry has not been changed in any seal found. What does indicate? All these were made at one common place under a centralized decision making body. So there was one centralized decision making body which was taking all decisions at one center, and that was being radiated to other centers of Indus Valley. Clear? If things could have been regionally variant, clear, at least this sizes, this presentation could have been different. Clear? So there's remote controversy related to centralized decision making. Some authors even contradict that there may not be centralized decision making in large areas. Clear? But uniform sizes of bricks. Clear? The consistent designation of coins or symbols on seals. Clear? And even a common symmetry followed, grid pattern followed in all the cities. Clear? All this indicate there was uniform decision making body. If it varied from region to region, differences could have been there from city to city. Clear? All the cities has been divided broadly into two categories, that is upper town and the lower town, citadel and the lower town. Clear? This has also been followed consistently in all the cities. What does it indicate? Obviously there was uniform decision making authority. Clear? So anything which is said about Indus Valley can be contradicted. Why? Because one reason is the script has not been deciphered. Clear? We have to wait till the decipherment of pictographic script. Tamil Nadu government has offered a big prize, clear, for deciphering or rather breaking the mystery of the pictographic script. Clear? So anything can be challenged, but one thing is very sure. Clear? Remote contradiction is there about decision making process in Indus Valley civilization. Clear? So seals were used. Clear? But seals were used only for domestic transactions. Clear? Seals were not used for external trade, because why will other Mesopotamian accept the seals? Clear? This trade was through barter system. Yeah, trade guilds, but trade guilds were not there at that time. Clear? Because in fact, Indus Valley civilization was perhaps, not sure, 50%, perhaps ruled by class of traders and merchants. Guilds came in post-Mauryan phase. Clear? Not at the time. So even Harappans were ruled by traders and merchants. Clear? So they took keen interest in promoting large number of seals. So rather than looking into guilds, rulers themselves were traders. It is largely accepted. Not 100%, perhaps. Clear? Harappans were ruled by class of traders and merchants. Uniformity. Clear? Uniformity is a major feature of hallmark of Indus Valley civilization. First points are punch marked coins. Clear? Right, text heading. Right, numismatics. Numismatics as source of ancient history. Numismatics as source of ancient history. Right, the study of coins known as numismatics. The study of coins known as numismatics. Numismatics has facilitated to reconstruct economic as well as political history, economic as well as political history of ancient India, political history of ancient India. Clear? That the first currency to be circulated in ancient India, the first currency to be circulated in ancient India were the punch-marked coins. Coins in the 5th century BC. Urbanization took place here in 5th century BC. Yeah. These coins were made with copper and silver. That also came to be known as panas or karsapanas. That also came to be known as panas or karsapanas. Coins, silver and copper coins, panas or karsapanas. Clear? That these coins continued to be circulated. These coins continued to be circulated during Mauryan period. Clear? That according to Arthashastra, very important literary source. According to Arthashastra, clear? Officers and soldiers in Mauryan Empire, were paid cash salary, ranging from 60 panas to 48,000 panas. Ranging from 60 panas to 48,000 panas. Okay? That this indicate the range of bureaucracy, in Mauryan administration. Panas. Clear? Change paragraph. Right. The circulation of currency and coinage. Became highly developed in became highly developed in the post-Mauryan phase. Highly developed in the post-Mauryan phase. Terms also keeps on changing. Clear? Post-Mauryan phase. Now here we need to discuss some strategic factors also. Clear? In fact, gold being introduced in India by Indo-Greeks and then largely by Kanishk, the ruler of Kushans. Clear? In fact, Kanishk began to mint the purest form of gold coins in India. These gold coins were known as Nishka. Clear? So Nishkas were pure gold coins circulated by Kanishk. Clear? From this word Nishka, there was a company known in India as Tanishk. Clear? Tan means gold. Nishka means pure. That is pure gold. Clear? And Tanishk is a Tata brand for jewelry. Clear? Tanishk is derived from the word Nishka. Nishka indicate pure gold. Clear? Body of pure gold indicated by the term Tanishk. Clear? These coins were circulated by Kanishk in course of time. He is the only ruler of Indian history who integrated North India with Central Asia. Clear? And he brought huge amount of gold from Chinese and Romans who traded in silk through a route known as mainland Silk Road. Clear? We have the history of mainland Silk Road from ancient times. He collected tolls both from Chinese and Romans as he ruled over Central Asia, and these tolls were in form of pure gold, and this gold entered India and he began to circulate pure gold currencies in India for the first time, which indirectly indicate India's strategic connection with Central Asia and participation in mainland silk trade between Chinese and the Romans. Clear? We'll come to these developments under Indo-Greeks first and then under Kushans. Clear? Is this clear at this point? We'll continue from here. It's fine. Timing is still 4:30, right? We'll continue from here. Clear? See, we will have sessions, I think, with breaks. Clear? Tomorrow and day after tomorrow, I think ma'am will continue. Clear? Then on Friday, I have another session. We'll continue this way. I think 3 days in a week. This time we started on Tuesday. Normally Monday, Tuesday and Friday. This is, you know about the schedule. Okay. So we'll have another session on Friday. We'll continue from here.